Hello, greetings, blessed be. I am Gilles Mancillon. I wanted to come very briefly today and wish you a good day. I wanted to speak about a few things, pull out a few cards and show a few paintings. I thank you for attending this moment with me. Right now it feels like it's a great deal of death and rebirth. It's like there is an internal death and it's a complete upgrade of all our system, our perception, our understanding. There is all kinds of newness that is coming into the picture. And so personally I'm going through an intense cleansing, and so it's like bursting the bubble that will allow me to connect on a much deeper level. I feel I'm not that far away, it just requires certain efforts. For when we are doing cleansing, it feels really contracting. It's like everything, because those are poisons that we are carrying with us that are trying to get liberated, but since they are poisons, they feel bad when they get liberated. And so in average, most human beings have between 250 and 350 kind of negative programmation, toxins, and all kinds of negative program that they're carrying along. So we cannot disconnect everything at once, but we have to look inside ourselves to know what is the priority, what is the things that we need to do first to get to the next level. And so personally, it is coffee and tobacco are the two biggest things that I'm working towards to releasing, because I know how good it feels when I point in my life I had liberated that and I felt really good, but then for some reason this karma just came back into the picture, and so I'm working on liberating that. I wanted also to salute the courage of all those who are courageous enough to turn within, to face their fear, their shadow, because it is quite an adventure. You got to trust that on the other side of that there will be a liberation. For as soon as we let go of those things that needs to be released, then new things will come about, but there will be a time in between, so we have to be patient in the process. I also wanted to say that what we do not really matter in any essence. I mean, but we do. It is not really what we do, but who we are. So it is important to recognize that the simple fact to have chosen to incarnate here at this time and place in the earth is quite a magnificent enterprise. Just to be here is just wonderful. So I hope you can enjoy your life. For the point of life, the whole idea about life was not about suffering, but about enjoyment. It is just like we have kind of lost that, lost the understanding, or not completely, but there is a lot of kind of pressure, financial pressure that has been put on the world to eventually all this will be freed up and liberated. Talking about spirituality is something very delicate, for it is kind of politically incorrect. There are so many different views on spirituality, and sometimes most of the religions are opposing each other in their understanding, or believe that they have the whole truth, when actually those are not the truth, but just ways towards the truth, towards the love, the light, the freedom, the bliss of divine experience. So the essence is to learn to live in the void, to accept the mystery, to accept the now without having to have to understand it or putting into a box and then life reveal itself. For there is a great shift that is coming, and it will manifest on the political scene and the earth plane and all those things. But all of those, understand that all of those are secondary to your own shift. For this is really what you want to pay the most attention to. Do not let yourself be distracted by those things of the world, for they are extremely secondary in relationship to your own process of ascension, if you have chosen that. It is important to seek to deactivate the triggers. For the triggers is those things that push our buttons. Of course, there is all those corruption in the world, for those things will happen, and those things used to trigger me. Now I understand that it's part of the process. We are where we are, and things will unfold as they will. Yet there was things that really triggered me now, but now I'm feeling a lot better. Like when I'm walking down the streets and like there is a little moped that makes more noise than a jet plane. It's just like so now I'm trying to let him pass, or like people that spit everywhere they go, or dogs shitting everywhere. In France we have all those things. It's like sometimes it's like, so that just teach me where to put my feet. Sometimes you have to be really, or like those people have that feel like they need to spit everywhere they go. It's because they have such a bad taste in their mouths, they feel like they're trying to get rid of it, but it is not really how it works. For all of those, I'm deactivating them. And just like, because I used to have a bit of judgment in relationship that have with those people that have very little respect for others. Now I just put the limit, and I'm okay with that. For life, the idea of life is to not let ourselves be distracted by all those things that can take our joy away. So it is a challenge. For life is challenging. There will always be adversity in the third dimension. For that is the program. This is how we grow. This is how we learn, through adversity. And challenges, but and we cannot unlearn what we've already learned. Once something has been revealed in our consciousness, we can no longer deny it. So it takes a while to integrate those things, but just breathe and take the time. And as soon as is to understand that when we realize something, it is our cup getting filled. But if our cup is always filled, if we believe we are at the extent of all the knowledge that we can achieve, then our cup is always filled and we never learn anything. So as we fill our cup, we digest it, we integrate it, and that empty our cup, and then the universe can bring more. The faster we can do that, the faster the universe can bring us new things. I wanted to speak of star seeds. Those star seeds are those beings that are different than other human beings. They come from Sirius, they come from Pleiades, they come from Arcturus. For those star nations, have always sent some of their representatives, both to assist the planet and to grow within themselves, because to grow in relation to learn things for their own civilization on how to deal with duality. So we do want to reconnect to that past, to that to our soul connection, which is our soul family. Depending on, we all have different soul connection, but we do need to recognize which is our own, the strongest connection we have, and also wanted to. Because see I wanted to say that when we're also in a relationship to the ascended masters, the archangels, the galactic families, those are not beings to be worshipped. They always have to be dealt if you want to have a significant communication, telepathic or otherwise. It has to be on the equal level. For they are friends, they are sisters, they are brothers, they are guides, they are teachers, but they are not object of worship. There is a scientific reason for that. For when you worship God, you send your love towards the source of all life, the prime creator of all things. Then you're awakening your true self. You're turning toward your own light. It is the light of God, is your own light. But then when you're worshipping someone else, you're worshipping the divinity within somebody else. So there is a distortion. So no ascended master will ever accept to be worshipped. They will always remind you kindly that you are the one that needs to change certain things in order to certain judgments, certain understandings, certain beliefs, in order to reconnect to this divine light that is the essence of who you are. I also wanted to say that there is everybody has a reserve seat on the train of ascension. Every human being, but some of them are not ready. There is some souls that are just arrived in the matrix, so you have to let them the time to live that many life in duality. They came here to learn, so they are not ready to move into ascension. Do not worry about them. Help them, love them, but do not. If they're not ready, they're not ready. But for everyone who is ready, you can just already move into the train. But just put your luggage so they don't somewhere that they don't bother you, and just sit down and enjoy the ride. For the destination of that train is eternal joy and happiness. So there is nothing to fear about the ascension. It's just we have to pass through to face certain all our conditioning before we can actually be liberated. But it is really what is in the process of happening, and this year we'll see many change, and we'll feel many upgrade in our DNA. Another way that's really powerful, another powerful exercise is when we are outside. There is during the day there is the light of the sun. Even if there is clouds, if the sun wasn't there, there would be no light. So the sun is already there, is always there, and to breathe the oxygen and the photon that is in the air, in the atmosphere, in the breathable air, those are powerful. They are prana. They are very powerful. So when you breathe in, if you can visualize this light going in, it makes it more conscious, and it can cleanse a lot more. For the sun is a divine consciousness that is upgrading every day, every DNA. So it is a very, very powerful force, a powerful being. So the card of the day is Shiva. It's really the great enlightenment. It is great power. It's the source. It is God. It is the light. It's coming out of the wave of love and bliss, and it's moving into the pillar of fire. So it is really putting a hand on the light, and so to allow this source to reconnect to that light, and to allow this to happen at its own pace, at its own rhythm, without any hurry. But as your mind becomes open and free, new things reveal itself each and every day. What's invisible, that is not seen just yet, that's fine. It's amusement. So it is very much about joy and play and game and physical pleasure. So all those things will come into the picture, and which is supported even more by what is visible already, which is the lover, the wish-fulfilling gem. So it is very much a very powerful and potentially powerful for romance, but also for new experiences in relation to pleasure and new discovery. For sexuality is a higher, doesn't have to be sexual, it's very animal basically, but when it has the power to be elevated into something really truly blissful. As we move forward towards a more integrated consciousness, we are able to develop our sexuality a lot more and discover new forms of pleasure. What we are learning now is just passing through, to understand all the ephemeral aspect of things. There are so many things that are just passing through. So whenever there is a difficulty in life, just know it will pass. It's or even the good thing, but the good things will have more chances to anchor. Know that everything in this dimension is temporary. It's all part of the samsara, which is a great void, a great school of evolution created by the gods, so that the little soul individualized soul could go into and learn different lessons. And what will be the final outcome of this learning is Maya, how she spins. So it's about understanding what we sow in our life. We will have to reap, basically, and in a sense there is what we sow, but then the universe sows. For every action there is a reaction, and then life builds. And so, but as we become more conscious, things get easier, and we take more enjoyment, more pleasure, more gratitude into each and every one of our experience, and we are able to even discharge all kinds of tension, all kinds of problems before they even happen. We see them because we have the vision to see, and we are able to discharge them. And so by the time the situation gets there is no problem, because it has been discharged. There is only clarity that will be coming from this relationship. I wanted to show a few paintings that are new, that I have not shown before. This one is a frame painting. Eventually I'm going to frame all my paintings. For those, I think they look a lot better. Sometimes I have shown this white hole here, but it's not framed, so it's very difficult to see how it will look when it's framed. In essence, the bigger the painting, the less important the frame, but for a small painting, the frame is essentially important. So I'm showing those in a studio fashion. Most of them are unframed. So this one is called Twin Universe. These two gold rings. There is a lot of surface on my painting. A lot of sometimes some of them are very, very textural. This is a beautiful piece. It's all part of the series. I will show the whole series. Well, I have shown the whole series, but not in any major exhibition. So, the twin universe is the idea that our own local universe of Nebadon is twinned with another universe that is called Avalon. But it can also be the third dimensional universe and the fifth dimensional universe that are connecting into this form here, which is a Vesica Piscis kind of But those are very intuitive. I don't really have plan. I just do it, and I allow my spirit, my collective spiritual energy to work through many things, and eventually I let my eye decide whether it works or not. And at the end, usually I just know when it's finished. But this painting I've already shown. It is a painting of our solar system from 2015 with hundreds of small planets. Ascension, Minerva, Cassandra, Nostalgia, Hera, Proserpina, Ophelia. I've already shown and talked about that painting. This is part of a series of painting from 2005 to 2007. I did all kinds of paintings. There were large paintings inside small ones because I didn't have the space to do large paintings. So this is like a painting about I Ching, the creator, number one. Sometimes they have people, sometimes so there is all kinds of different interior. They're very intimate kind of paintings. I kind of this one is very quiet. I kind of like it. This one came a little bit like 2-3 years before this other one I just shown. So there is not 100 planets, but there is about 15 planets called visitors. And so the visitors are here. It's those like fishy starships. They look like completely integrated in the cosmos. Here is Neptune, Lilith, Pallas, Juno, Ceres. Those are the main guys of our solar system. Vesta, Jupiter. The Sun has a Maya kind of feeling to it. There is Saturn. There's an eye there, and then Pluto up there. And here there is like some kind of a crocodile that's been muzzled. It's kind of I didn't plan it there, but it's there. And here we have Uranus. Here I put a rogue planet that is the only painting where I ever put this planet. It's called Nibiru. Used to be the planet that came from Orion, from the Anunnaki, but now it's in Federation hands. But this planet will not come into play with the Ascension, so it's not really important, but I thought I'd put it in a painting anyway. Here we have Mercury, which is symbolized as the eye of the Sun. Venus, the Earth, Mars, Chiron here. And here a planet named Pax. It was called Maldek. It was a huge planet with an atmosphere, oceanic planet that was inhabited by peaceful giants that was invaded and destroyed during the Galactic War, but it has been said that the Archangel will rematerialize it when the time comes from the solar system to move into fifth dimension, just like Mars and Venus will be reconstructed so that it can reintegrate ocean and organic life. This painting is maybe the most 3D painting I've ever done. I have two of them. It's all our local star system. It's called the star map, but it's all the stars that are near us, the constellations that are right around our corners. And so this one is the northern sky, and I have one exactly the same format of the southern skies. Southern sky. So this is with Polaris at the center, the North Star. If you want to find Polaris, the North Star, it is very easy. You look for the Big Dipper, and then you draw a line from the top of the Big Dipper. You always find the North Star. And then if you follow the tail of the Dipper, you find Arcturus. So those are major. Those kind of they're very easy ways to recognize some of those constellations. They will become more familiar as we learn to work with them. This painting I've already shown yesterday, so it was very interesting. This painting has been in storage for a couple of years, so I'm really happy to see it again. There's so many subtleties within that. There's so many details, and there are dimensions and depths and all kinds of things. It's quite very interesting. It took me a couple of years to make it, and it took me a whole 6 months just to integrate my signature in it, because I had signed it in front, but the signature wouldn't work in the painting, so it took me about 6 months just on the painting. There is like a great deal of paint on those, paint on the signature, which is becoming very thick. So I wanted to thank you for, I hope you enjoyed this video. I want to thank you for coming by. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you later. Thank you very much. Namaste.